Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Matt, welcome to the podcast. Thank you for taking the time to do this, man. I seriously appreciate it.
Yeah, of course, man.
So, the thing that I like to start with on this podcast is your heavy metal history. So, those bands and records that you remember getting you into the genre and kind of how it like unfolded to where you're at now in your current listening tastes.
Um, so earlier on, I mean, obviously Black Sabbath is the first thing that I heard was kind of heavy, Metallica and Slayer and stuff on the radio. But I mean, I don't know, the genre that I wound up doing the most of was I was really attracted to the underground kind of sound,
Yeah.
lo-fi stuff. And so the band Loss, I remember, was one that I liked a lot for the Funeral Doom sound.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna kind of dance around questions because I'm not good at answering questions. So let me see here. Fucking, I remember when Paul Riedel would make me these tapes all the time. He'd make me these like mixtapes, and that was on one of the
Nice.
tapes, and I really liked them. So I bought that record, and that helped shape the early sounds of Hell and Burning Witch and Corrupted were close seconds. And all those bands, or those three bands, and Electric Wizard too.
Hmm.
Those four bands, I guess, were like the ones that really kind of shaped how I was gonna, take the sound moving forward that I was trying to play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you were getting into like the doom genre pretty early on from just people influenced tapes and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I
Yeah.
wouldn't have found any of those bands otherwise if it weren't for those guys making me tapes and making just putting on records when I'd be at the house just hanging out.
Yeah, it took me a long time to get into doom metal. I don't know why, but it didn't click for me until like I was like in my mid 20s probably.
Yeah, you got to get a little
Um,
older, I feel like, to like something like that.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's think what it was. And then like after that, I was just on like a kick on nothing but that for like 4 years, and then I like kind of got out of it, but I still listen to it occasionally. But
Yeah,
yeah,
same.
it's funny how that just doesn't it doesn't hit you until it hits you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's like, yeah, once you've listened to everything else and you're in just the right mood, you went through something that sucked, and you're like, and it somehow it has its place, for every
Yeah.
emotion that you have throughout life.
The cool thing is, like, I still keep up with like all the bands that I've discovered from that era, but every now and then a new one will pop up, and I'll immediately just go listen to it because it's like I love the genre. So even if I don't listen to Doom that much anymore, if it's a newer band, I'm still gonna check them out because I could be missing out on something great.
Oh, that's cool. It's cool that you do that. Yeah, I try to keep up too, but yeah, after that just giant inflation of doom bands like in like the 2000 early 2010s,
Yeah.
it just like kind of got overwhelming. So I kind of just lost interest in like seeking them out.
Hmm.
But every once in a while I'll get lucky and just hear something that's well, that's cool. But yeah, I don't listen to a lot of metal in general anymore. I just like to play it, for like the release of it, because it's just yeah. But yeah, sometimes I'll hear something like, oh shit, that's a cool riff. Fuck yeah.
Yeah, I would have to imagine that playing it, you're not gonna want to listen to it all day. It's like the last thing you want to hear.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Definitely.
So what do you gravitate towards now that you're not like constantly listening to metal in between that?
I've been listening to the Oblivion remastered soundtrack a lot.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
yeah, at work while I'm flipping eggs. And I've been listening to old country and
Oh yeah.
like kind of like I've been finding these like it's like like Norwegian folk, old folk songs that are just singing,
Hmm.
and it's just really nice. I don't know, listen to that kind of stuff, and I am still working on music, so I spend a lot of time listening to the things I'm working on,
Yeah.
and like coming up with the next part. I have to listen to it a bunch. I'm like, okay, now the next part. So then I go back and record more stuff, listen to that. So I listen to a lot of the things that I'm currently working on, and in between that, yeah, just like folk. country stuff and just soundtrack music. That's the stuff that I like to listen to on my own time.
Yeah, that Oblivion remaster looks amazing. I haven't had the chance to play it yet or buy it, but man, as soon as I can, I'm there for it. It looks
It's
so
great.
good.
It's great. I might get it like 30 minutes in after this before we
Nice.
go on our drive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just finished playing this game called Forspoken. That was it was pretty decent. Like, it's kind of like a run of the mill like open world game, RPG
Sure.
type game, but it was
Yeah.
fun. I had a blast
Those are
with
my
it.
favorite games. Yeah. I think I might
Yeah.
check out that Dune. What's it called? Dune Awakening, or there's like a Dune game coming out. It looks kind of cool. I'm not
Yeah.
much of a gamer. I just like the open world games whenever those come
Mhm.
out, you know? So I might check
Yeah.
that one out.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you there. I kind of like fighting games, but they get too competitive after a certain point. It's like, I can't do this, man. I just want to play with my friends and like, that's it. But yeah, open world stuff is cool with me. I don't have time to play with like people I know or anything like that.
No, yeah, that's kind of yeah. You have to be really into it to do shit like that, like the
Yeah.
shooters.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
I just get too
So,
stressed out.
yeah, that's the thing with those games though, is like at a certain point, like, maybe people like you and me aren't really interested in taking it competitive. We just want spare time. And then it gets to that level where it's like everybody that's playing it is on that competitive level. So it's just not fun to play anymore because you're not
Yep.
against those people who are just playing in their spare time. Like,
Nope. Yeah, everybody's too good.
yep. Well, getting back to music, when when did your interest in starting to want to play music come from?
Just music and playing it in general.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh man, I mean, I don't know. I guess my first instrument was violin, but I was like 4,
Oh shit.
and then I was taking violin and piano lessons for till I was like maybe 6 or 7,
Hmm.
and then I wasn't like writing anything myself yet. You know, it's just like playing all the basic beginners songs and studying theory and stuff. Um, I think I wanted to play music after I started just listening to grunge and Nirvana and and Alice in Chains and I mean Metallica, I guess. Just anything I was hearing on the radio a bunch. I just wanted to like I wanted to grow my hair out and get a guitar and an amp with distortion. And I wanted to just like see, you know, just go that route. So then I started taking guitar lessons and I was like, fuck, I don't remember. I must have been like 12, 13.
Oh wow. Okay.
Took some lessons. You know, would learn Smells Like Teen Spirit. I thought I was fucking so good, dude. Like, oh yeah, I got this. And then that's when I started to like just kind of when I learned the power chord, you know, then I just started just riffing around and doing stuff and I'd bring it to my teacher and he'd be like, "Hey, you should throw this little fucking this sixth note in there for this part so it's not just, you know, a root and a fifth the whole time." And I'm like, "Oh shit," you know, expanded my mind. I'm like, "Oh man." And then I started I was really into Pink Floyd too. It's one of my
Mm.
favorite bands of all time. And I was like I got on this like medication, this ADD medication, kind of turned me into a zombie. So then I just started writing just Pink Floyd style songs for like 5 years. It was
Wow.
called Persona, not Persona, Persona, because I didn't
Uh-huh.
know how to spell Persona, I guess. and, and I just had a great time writing stuff like that, super chill stuff. And that's when I really started writing a lot of music and doing it myself outside of like bands, you know, like these like grungy meat puppet style bands that I was in with my friend. But yeah, yeah. I guess does that answer the question?
Yeah. Yeah, no,
Yeah,
man, that like Pink Floyd, I definitely think I'm noticing a lot more bands kind of like putting that stuff in their music these days. I guess the biggest one that
Blood
got a lot of
Incantation new
attention,
album.
yeah, Blood
Yep.
Incantation.
Yeah, it's because
Uh,
Paul. I remember when he
wow.
found Live in Pompeii. I already been watching it. About I just bought the LP thing the other day too, but
Oh
I
hell
already
yeah.
been watching it. Paul discovered. He's like, dude, and then I'm like, oh yeah, I know, man. But it's crazy how this many years later, this is a long time ago, and this many years later, he's now like putting that element into death metal, which is like fucking I thought was just so genius. It's like hell yeah, dude. Somehow you squeeze it in there and it totally works.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool.
It's very jarring for me. Like I still I've brought this up a bunch of times. Like I appreciate what they're doing. It hasn't like clicked for me. But the funny thing is, I still go back and listen to it because I'm trying to like figure out like what it is that it's not quite grabbing me. But I'm still listening to it, so it's like
Yeah,
maybe that's like a win-win
it
with
is.
the
I think
record.
it is, man. Yeah, that's why I think it was fucking smart.
Yeah,
It's cool. It's
yeah, it's
different. That's why it's just different. Nobody's done something like that quite yet, and it's kind of just like reshaping the sound. And I can't wait to see what other bands that like that album are gonna try to do in 5 years.
yeah,
It's gonna be cool.
yeah. I dig it when bands kind of incorporate non-metal elements into their songs because it gives it a complete like sound and vibe, I guess,
Yeah,
for what they're doing. And instead of just being like a straight death metal band, it's like, oh, let's have a Pink Floyd interlude. Why not?
or a saxophone or something. Yeah, it's like
Yeah,
let's just throw weird. I mean, you have to do that to like pave different paths. I mean, we already have like a billion subgenres, but let's just add another one.
yeah,
Fuck it.
yeah. It's funny. I've been seeing that more and more lately, where like kids are trying to like sub genre or something, and I'm like, oh my god, let it
Yeah,
be heavy metal, man. Like
yeah.
it doesn't
At
have
the
to be
very end,
some.
it says metal. It's like,
Yeah,
yeah,
uh, it's crazy, but I guess just part of getting older.
yeah. Just get a little more. Yeah, we're a little more jaded, man. That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So for people, I know this is a bit of a cliche question, but for people that may not know, people that are checking you guys out for the first time, can you give me like a brief little history of the band Hell and how it came to be?
yeah. A lot of it has to do with this punk house in Salem, Oregon, called the Barrel Grounds.
Okay.
I was hanging out, playing my grunge music and my Pink Floyd style music, and then, like I said, Paul would like run into me here and there, and he had long hair, we had long hair, totally different styles, of music. He was doing punk and metal, and we were doing, you know, grungy, shoegazy stuff. And he just kept making me these tapes. And one day I was just hanging out over there, and I'm like, I think I can do this. I'm just gonna like, this is what doom metal. I'd never heard of doom metal. This is it. I like this. It struck me right away. I'm like, this just seems simple. It's extremely heavy. I'm gonna try to do this too. So I just one day I wrote this song called Brutus, which is the first song on the first Hell release.
Hmm.
And it's the first song I ever wrote in that style, and I did it in like just a few hours, and then I just did the drums all pretty much within a day. And
Damn.
then I had my friend Liam do some vocals on it just for fun. He was just making noises. There's no lyrics in the song. And showed it to them. They're like, dude, this sounds fucking great. Because they were recording a lot of shit on like field recorder in the basement. They put a field recorder in a sock and stick it up in the rafters, and then record like their Leech stuff and Ancestor Tooth and all the projects they had going on at the time. It was Paul Riedel, Nate Myers, Brandon Hill, and Kyle Watson. All those guys were just in a bunch of bands together. I know I'm
Okay.
missing some people, but yeah. So Paul just kept making me tapes, and then there he's like, "You got to keep making some music like but that Brutus song you brought over." I'm like, "Okay." So I just finished the rest of the album and within like a few months, I think. And I'm like, "What about this?" And he was like, "All right, yeah, it's almost enough for now. We just need about like 16 minutes more material." So then there's that last song on the first Hell release, which is I made that one, and it was 16 minutes. I'm like, here you go. And yeah, and then that album came out, and he would just give it to people that he was tape trading with, and people liked it. And that kind of just slowly snowballed from there, really slowly.
Yeah.
You know, different members started touring a little when I was 20. I had a fake ID so I could still, have drinks when we hit Oakland and stuff. And yeah, man. I mean, that's kind of just like the gist of it, I guess.
Yeah. So was the impetus of it originally just to be like a one man kind of project? You
Yeah.
like did you ever want to tour or anything like that?
No,
No. Just
no, no,
just
no.
doing music to do music. I love that.
Yeah. That's what I still always have just wanted to do, but I also feel like at this point I owe it to the fans that are there to like go perform. They want to see it. It's like, okay,
Mhm.
fuck yeah, you know,
Yeah.
why not? You know, it is kind of fun to look back on being on the road, but being on the road for me is pretty rough. So I
Yeah.
just destroy my body.
Yeah, that's something I do from touring. It's like you get little to no sleep, diet's awful,
Mhm.
drinking a lot if you're a drinker,
Yep.
whatever else is going on.
Smoking a lot,
Yeah.
eating a lot, screaming a lot, fucking
Yeah, holy shit.
sitting a lot, and then lifting heavy shit, and then not stretching and sitting and pissing a lot, shitting a lot. Just pretty
Pissing in
much you're just
bottles.
like this like disgusting ball of hair, just like on in a van, just cruising around, just playing fucking riffs and then sweating a bunch. And then I don't remember meeting anybody usually because I'm just so like tired and in a haze. But the turnouts last tour was so nice. Everybody's just so great and supportive. So I'm like, yeah, we're gonna try to do another one. Yeah.
Yeah, that's something I've like noticed about the doom metal scene and people that listen to it is like really some of the nicest people in the genre by far. Like
Yeah,
it's
dude.
kind of crazy. You don't really see that much with death metal guys. Like some of them are. I'm not generalizing here, but you
Wild
know,
boys. Yeah. Wild
yeah,
boys in the
they're
middle. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, it's in to that point though, the other thing I wanted to mention is like collaborative spirit of the genre. It seems like as far as like most genres, this is the one that's the most collaborative. You're always seeing like these bands doing splits and uh, EPs together, and your last collaboration with Mizmor, like all those kind of things. You don't really see that much in any other genre.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know why that is. I mean, uh example I could give is just or what I think that is a lot of solo artists, you know.
Yeah,
Maybe I'm talking about Liam and I. So with Miss More and Hell solo stuff. So eventually, you know, it's once you're like maybe if you hit a wall of you're like, I don't know what to do next, it's a perfect opportunity to step outside your comfort zone and work with somebody else, right? Or
yeah,
if you have like something you're like, I don't want to write another side of a record. I think this is cool on its own. Then you just do a split with somebody. You know, like, do you guys have a little bit of music? I have a little bit of music. I like your band. You like my band? Cool. Let's put out a split. You know, but but yeah, I think the collaborative thing is just to try to like stretch your mind out a little bit and kind of see if there's any corners you haven't explored yet. Maybe you can learn something from the other artist,
yeah.
which
That's
I
what I
have.
always think too, man. Like, having that working together like spirit, you can always like figure out and learn something from somebody else, and like then both bands better. Like,
Yeah.
from operation. I love it.
Yeah, it's
I love
good.
seeing it.
Yeah, it's great. I love seeing art expand like that. It's great.
Yeah. You've known Liam for a long time, but how did that operation record come together for that one?
The Alluvion record.
Yes, yeah, Alluvion.
Um, so I was living in Texas, going to a audio school over there. We're just getting out of town. Just wanted to get out of Oregon for a while, and I would come back to visit. And one time I was visiting, and it was like kind of rainy here, and I just missed the smell here in Oregon. That rainy smell. We were outside talking, drinking tequila, and I was just like smelling looking at the trees. I'm like, man, this is nice. And I don't know. I was like, hey, man, we should finally just work together. I don't know. Something was just like, let's just finally make a record together. We've been like influencing one another since we were like 14 doing music. And now we're in our 30s. Like, how about we actually finally fucking actually do something together rather than just playing each other's solo projects? Let's give that a shot again. That's how it came about. It was just kind of like we kind of discussed it. Maybe he mentioned it one time, you know, 8 years ago or throughout the
Mhm.
years, or we'd be like, oh yeah, sure, man, yeah, you know, sure. But finally, you know, it's like, okay, I think it just seemed like it was a good time to finally work together, and I'm really happy we did. I'm happy with the result.
Yeah, it's definitely cool too because you guys both are having like I think he just had his full length come out not long before that, right?
Yeah, I don't
Was
know.
it
Last year he
last
had,
year? Yeah.
yeah, think it was
It's hard to
last year,
keep
maybe the year
track,
before.
man. I swear. And then your
I,
stuff's coming out this year.
yeah. I think it was either last year or the year before, 2024 or 2023. His last full length came out.
Okay.
Sorry, Liam. I
Yeah.
don't
So, yeah. Sorry.
remember.
So what did that look like as far as when you guys decided to start working on that collaborative process? Like, was it to the point where like, hey, here's my stuff and you add to it, or was it kind of like a back and forth?
Yeah, I mean, I had moved back before I moved back to Oregon and then we started working on it. Um, I had riffs that I was writing in Texas. I just like would record. I just made myself sit down and play guitar. I'm like, I know I need to write a new album. I need to do something. So I just recorded tons of riffs. I still have a lot of riffs left that are
Wow.
just like, just like beginning of a song, or even some riffs seem like they'd be at the end or middle of a long song,
Hmm.
just how I write riffs. And so it's just riff after riff. It's like 15 minutes of just some riffs. I think that's called, the file is called Some Riffs. And so I sent Liam the whole thing. And I was like, this riff I'm going to use on the new Hell album, I think. But all these other ones are free for us to use. And so yeah, the first song, Begging to Be Lost, I think that kind of clean guitar thing that comes in. If you've heard it, I'm not sure if you heard it, but that was one of the
Yes.
riffs. So we worked on that riff, we changed it around a little bit, added a harmony, and then yeah, and then I guess, and then he came up with the next riff. He's like, all right, I think this might be good next because it ends on this note. And I was been working on this. So yeah, it's just like, okay, we get together every week and we'd work on it. We'd write. We wrote for months, and then we started the recording process. I think we did it all in a year.
Damn.
Um, yeah. And that with touring, and he does music full time, but I work in a kitchen full time.
Okay.
So, and also was trying to work on the Hell record and had been working on Asphalt stuff with my friend TJ. And I got married that year. So it was a really, really busy year, but we got it all figured out. And yeah, some of the process felt rushed to me, but the end product I am happy with.
As far as like the writing or the recording process, like
Both.
both.
Oh,
Okay.
no, the writing process. No, the recording process was very, very, it was scheduled out really nice. It was smooth. That was fine.
So I've always been curious, and this may seem like a really dumb question, but what is the hardest part about crafting like a 16-minute long song? Because it seems like to me, because I can't think in that long of a writing, like for me personally when I write stuff. So I'm curious, like what is the hardest part about that?
Well, I'll tell you what, I don't sit down and play the whole song before I record it. I'm
Okay.
not like sitting there being like, all right, here's this riff. And then I hit the open note and then just like have been count, forever while there's a drone happening. And then the next riff comes in. It's like I write it in, well, yeah, I do is I write it in pieces, right? Like
Okay.
phases, I guess. Like almost like kind of how classical pieces are, when you look those up, it's like part one, part two, or whatever. So I'll just work on one riff and then listen to that and then wait till another riff comes to mind, and I'll find out a way to tie them together, and I'll just record that. Months later, record this one, and then be like, oh yeah, maybe I should go into this dark thing, and then I'll add stuff to this other piece of the whole song, and I'll just, everything's done in pieces, and then it's just about putting the pieces together. So then once the pieces are there, then I re-record the entire thing, and so the transition, then I have to work on the transitions in between
Okay.
the pieces, right? And then so yeah, and when you write a song that long, you have to think about the vinyl, right? Is
Yeah.
it going to fit on the one side, or is there going to be a song before this long song? Is there going to be a song after? So what I'll do uh, uh, is if there is like a droney part, I'll just expand that part a little longer. If I
Okay.
think that song should be standalone, because I have to think about it like that. With these long songs, if it's going to come out on vinyl, these days I think about it more than the old albums, but you want to make sure that it's like it sits on that side well. Like it sits on that side nice and sturdy. If there's
Hmm.
just like a fucking headbanger before this like sad long song or afterwards, it kind of throws the whole thing off, like a 3 minute banger, uh, you know, before or after a 18 minute, 20 minute song. So yeah, I mean, to answer your question, it's done in pieces, and then it's just the puzzle. You just piece it together, and that's yeah, it's kind of how it is.
Thank you for clarifying that. Because
Yeah,
like, there's no way they sit down and just play 16 minutes of this straight up. Like, there's got to
no,
be
that's at band. That's at band practice.
yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Oh man. That's good to know because, like, yeah, sometimes when I write stuff, it's just like little, 2 minute chunks, and I'm like, man, how the fuck did they get like a 16-minute song? It's crazy.
Well, when you
But
write stuff, take all
yeah,
your 1 2 minute chunks and just fucking piece them together somehow.
yeah,
If you ever wanted to write a long song, that's how you do it. I feel like.
yeah. I've been like flirting with the idea of like trying something like that one day, but I don't think I'm quite there yet. But
Right.
it's good advice though. Now that I know to like piece it together. Um, so okay, so with that record, you guys collaborated on writing, recording, everything. As far as like lyrical duties, how did you guys split those up with the record?
We sat down and wrote all the lyrics together. It was actually a pretty equal. We did an equal amount of lyrics.
Okay, cool.
We just sat there. We're listening to the song. We're thinking. Liam was kind of like leading the way. He's like, "All right, so what's this album about for us?" And I'm like, and we had to figure out what it was about for us, and also what it was about for us as individuals.
Hmm.
Because we're both kind of sad boys, so we're like, okay, well, we everybody knows we know that we're depressed and feel like shit most of the time. So you know all of the other albums are pretty much about that. So how can we take that and then express how we both feel the same way about something, or maybe I don't know. So we came up with the like Liam think came up with the initial vision of like being just like out in the middle of the desert or like the alluvial plain, and you're just kind of crawling and be everywhere you go, like there's just another path that you have to go down, and you're fucking tired, and it's like I guess going through life, and then you know things work out, but then they don't, and then it just keeps on going and going, never seems to end. I think that was kind of that's really, I'm paraphrasing so much, but it's kind of like,
Yeah.
did you talk with Liam already?
No. So I tried to see if he would be coming back on, but I think I had the wrong contact information. But I
Okay.
had him on like record came out. So like
Okay, yeah, yeah.
2017, 18, maybe earlier.
Okay.
I kind of forget.
Well, he'd be able to explain it a lot better, is all I
Yep.
mean. But there also are great explanations online that we talked about it in depth, in a little bit more depth on a different podcast. But yeah, it's just kind of just yeah, that's kind of the topic
Desolation.
of it. Yeah, just kind of like just life just dragging on and fucking yeah. I don't know, dude. I'm so
Yeah.
bad at this shit.
No, hey man, this is great. No. Yeah, I think something you kind of mentioned that I've been noticing more and more is like um I mean, it seems like a lot of people are struggling mentally and emotionally lately,
Oh,
even more
absolutely.
so to the point where like I've been hearing bands on stage being like, "Hey, like I struggle with this and I feel like shit, but here I am on stage and when I'm with you guys I feel better, but I just need everybody to know that like you should keep pushing through this. It's worth it." Being like, "Hey, I'm dealing with these feelings," but also like everybody out there is dealing with them too, and having
Yeah.
that openness of everybody's kind of struggling and seems like it's getting worse, but trying to like push through that.
Yeah, I think
I don't
so.
know.
Yeah. Uh, yeah, interesting. You're hearing people just mention it on stage. I mean, yeah, social media stuff kind of really fucked with a lot of people's heads,
Yeah.
and just the, I guess, political climate the last 10 plus years, or whatever. It's just been a little rough for people, and Yeah, I don't know, man. It's hard to stay away from that stuff. I think that everybody would feel a little better if we didn't have smartphones, you know?
Yep.
And I think the younger generation, like a couple or the either one or two generations before me, like they're like, I think those kids are kind of know that. Like my one of my nieces, my oldest niece, she has one of those phones that only texts and calls. Oh, that's cool, you know. Maybe just keeping social media to like your computer or something at home or something, you know. I don't
Yeah.
know. I think that might help out people a lot because people feel like alone and shit. And everybody's on their phone at the coffee shop and, you know, nobody's interacting. And it's just, yeah, it's kind of sad for sure. I mean,
Yeah,
fuck, I do the same thing, man. You know, I'm not like, yeah,
I did get rid of a good deal of my social media a few years ago. Like I really only for the podcast. I don't use my personal like much anymore, but like Facebook,
yeah,
Twitter, all that shit gone. I don't need it. Um, Reddit sometimes, but even then, that's just to keep track of like my interests, stuff I like. But
yeah. Yeah,
yeah,
that's kind of how it is, you know. Yeah, I just have the hell one and I have a personal one. I just don't fucking go on it. I should
yeah,
just get rid of it. Um, but there's just some pictures on there that I just had to pull them off and save them, you know, because there's some, it goes back a ways now, and there's some stuff I don't want to lose. I think that's how they get you too, because I don't want to have to put it in like a fucking SSD drive or something. I don't know,
yeah,
but yeah, it's just nice for it to kind of be out there in their drive system or something. But yeah, man, I don't know.
yeah. Definitely. It definitely is like changed. Also, like you mentioned over the past few years, like it's just gotten worse and worse. I see all the time these parents that are at restaurants or whatever, and they immediately put their kids on their iPads and
Yeah,
don't engage with them whatsoever. Like
so they can have,
everybody's on something, and it's like,
yeah, it's a
what's the
cheat
point
code.
going out? Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, they're just like, so that's their moment of peace.
yeah,
Yeah, people have gotten a little lazier for sure. We'll see, man.
yeah. Okay. Well, again, back to music. As far as, as
Let's go down this
far as,
rabbit hole. God damn
yeah,
it. People
man.
need to get off their damn phones.
uh, God. As far as the new Hell material, obviously you've been busy since the last full length. Like I mentioned, you've done splits, EPs, live albums, all kinds of stuff. So, and you're always writing. So, where and how have you been like accumulating the riffs for this length? Is it just leftover stuff from all that stuff you've worked on, or is it brand new stuff you've been working on?
The
How did
new
that
album.
come? Yes. Yeah.
So some of the riffs are from my some riffs folder.
Okay.
Um and then some of them like the song Heavy, the song that the
The new track.
pre-order song, yeah.
Yeah.
That one I finished that song in Texas. I mean, I just like
Oh
finished
shit.
writing the entire thing. I had put the pieces together for that one. And I had like electronic drums on it because I was in an apartment and all my drums and all my stuff was still in Oregon. I just left it in Oregon because I knew I'd be back. Um, and I kind of had the song finished, just no lyrics or vocals.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, the next song, Gravis, that one I wrote here. I wrote
Okay.
that one here. Uh, oh, but nobody's heard. People haven't heard that one yet. Besides, maybe you've heard it because you have the folder, but I don't
I
know.
think by the time this comes out, people will have heard it because I'm gonna hold this back until like closer to release.
Okay,
If
cool.
yeah.
Yes. Mortem I wrote also in Texas, not the whole thing, just the first part. And Factum I wrote in Texas as well. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. And I just brought the riffs here and then re fixed them a little bit and re-recorded them. And Bog I did here.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah,
So you
man. I mean,
mentioned. Go ahead.
I actually don't know what I was gonna say. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I wanted to touch on the Texas part for a minute because you mentioned you were out there for like audio engineering school, correct?
Yeah.
So has that helped you learn anything as far as like trying new stuff on this record?
No, 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 no. If anything, going to that school fucked everything up for
Really?
me. Yeah, I mean, because I went to I refused to learn Pro Tools. I mean, I've recorded everything on this Yamaha 16 track thing since the very beginning of me
Hell
ever
yeah.
recording anything music wise. Like when I was 13, I had the same model this whole time and recorded every single Hell thing on it, every rock and roll band I was in or punk band, everything's recorded. But I'm like, I need to learn Pro Tools so I can like it's just so I don't know. Honestly, to make it a little bit easier and to have higher quality recordings, I wanted
Okay.
to have. I just wanted to have it to be better quality. I think it. The music deserves it after this long, the new stuff. So I actually just went to the school. I'm like, well, I also want to learn how to work in a large studio because every studio I reach out to, they never even fucking get back to me. So, because that's usually how you learn how to do something like that. You have a connection, you go in, you get the guy's coffee, whatever, and you just sit there. You set up mic stands and mics for the engineer on duty, and you just work for free essentially, and you learn while you're there. Get your foot in the door, like
Yep.
that's how it used to go, and I'm sure that still happens if you're lucky and they get back to you. But um, also, a lot of people are just recording at home these days, and I don't. A lot there's unless you're like a huge studio like in LA or wherever. It's a studios in Portland too. We have a lot of clients, and you're well known. It's hard to kind of get your foot in that door these days. So I went to school to learn how to use all of the big studio equipment, patch bays, and all that stuff because I didn't know how to use that stuff yet.
Hmm.
All the hardware, and to learn and to be forced to learn Pro Tools because I tried and I was like, "Fuck this!" Like when I was younger, I downloaded it, got it. I got it for like my birthday or something, and I'm like, "Oh, sick!" That's when you could just buy it
Yeah.
before subscription.
Yep.
I opened it up. I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "What the fuck?" But yeah, so I guess I just ramble so much to answer your question.
No, man,
uh
you're answering exactly what I want to know.
all right, cool. Yeah, it's just I just wanted to learn that stuff, and I wanted to get out of Salem, Oregon.
Yeah.
Oh, it's kind of I love Salem, Oregon. I was just kind of like I need to go somewhere else for a little while, and perfect opportunity to go is to go somewhere to go to school and get a degree in a trade school thing. So that's what I did, and yeah, started at Subodin Studios LLC, and I still do jobs. I got a recording a country band this weekend, but it's been pretty slow because I've just been working full. I don't promote myself, so
Yeah.
you have to do that, and I just
Yep.
kind of like have gotten lazy on that aspect and just been trying to concentrate on work and just making music. You know,
Yeah, I can imagine balancing all that stuff
yeah,
is quite tricky. Same. I can completely relate. Trying to do this podcast and work full time. It's like, when do I have time to do anything else? Editing, social
yeah.
media, all that shit. It's like,
Oh yeah.
fuck, man.
Well,
And
we
then
love it, right?
yeah, yeah. Sometimes it gets a little overwhelming when I put too much on my plate. But then I'm like, you did this to yourself, man. Like, why are you stressing about it now?
Well, it's good that you realize that because, like, but you and I seem like we both like to just stay busy, right? And
Yes,
sometimes we say yes to
100%.
everything, and then it's overwhelming. It's just, I think, something I tried to work on recently is trying to balance work and life a little bit more.
Yeah,
And that's what I've been doing especially since I got married. I'm trying to not like be on my phone doing emails, and I hardly post on social media the health stuff really, just when there's a new item. But yeah, I've been working on that too, man.
yeah,
So I feel you.
yeah. I don't know. I think as long as you don't burn yourself out, that's the important part. Because I came to that point, and I quit doing the podcast for like 3 years because it was just like, I'm done with this shit. Like, I don't want to see an editing screen ever again.
Yeah, dude,
Like,
for
goddamn.
sure.
But I gave it that time and came back, and now it's fun again. So that's all I can
Good,
ask for.
good, yeah, good. It's good you took the break. Yeah, because
Yeah.
yeah, that's when all the heavy drinking happens. Is when you start stressing yourself out just because you can't sleep.
Oh man, I don't sleep already. I'm always up until like 6 a.m. over here on the East Coast and get up at like 11, 12 in the morning, go to work,
Dude,
repeat. It
God
sucks.
damn. That's not good for you.
I know, I know. I've been to doctors about it, and they're just like, "Well, try all this stuff," and I've tried all that, and
Like
nothing works.
exercise and like what do they tell you? Just like
Melatonin,
yeah,
yeah,
uh,
exercise. I had to take some other kind of pill. I can't remember what it was. Some over-the-counter shit. And it didn't work either. Like, fuck this.
magnesium probably.
Yes,
Yeah, yeah.
magnesium.
I take
Yep.
magnesium too.
Yeah.
But yeah, magnesium's good for everything. It's good for taking dumps. It's good for uh it's good for your muscles, I guess. I don't really know. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, but yeah, I was just told to take it, so I take it.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of quit taking it for a while because I was like, I don't know if this is doing anything, but I still have it. Maybe I should just keep taking it. What's it
You
gonna
should,
hurt?
man. Yeah, it's gonna take a while for you to really notice anything. I'd say
Yeah.
like, you know, 20 to 30 days because I'm a doctor and you should listen to me. I don't
Doctor
know.
Matt.
Dr. Matt.
Doctor Hell. um, see, we're talking about Texas and okay. So the thing that I was curious about because we were mentioning everything is pretty easy to record at home now. Um, have you kind of come to like a middle ground between like learning and what works for you, or are you still just only on that Yamaha you were using?
I use Yamaha to still track everything because I don't have a
Okay.
laptop. So I bring the Yamaha into the practice space and I track everything with it. And then I bring it and then put it into Pro Tools or Ableton. I
Okay.
record a lot of stuff in Ableton and then I'll just like move it to Pro Tools to do like editing stuff, which I was never able to do when I just used the Yamaha. I just actually had to just do everything right the whole time, which takes a lot of extra time. And it is kind of a step that I wish I still did because when you put that extra time in, it's I don't know, it's just more raw,
Yeah.
because there's still mistakes that I can't fix. And it's just like, well, that's just how good of a musician I am. So there you go, you know. But yeah, so I just Ableton and then Pro Tools, and but yeah, I track everything with the Yamaha. Uh, yeah, I'm about to buy. I think I'm going to buy a laptop because I want to just be able to just bring that thing in rather than have to bring like a computer monitor and the computer, into this tiny little fucking practice space.
Yeah.
I just get flustered. I'm really dangly of long arms and I just fucking knock everything over and it's just like just get pissed off and I just go have a drink and just fucking then I just stop for the night. I just get all worked up. I'm like, fuck this, dude. I'm not in the mood. But yeah, I use Pro Tools now and the
Okay.
Yamaha track. Yeah.
Yeah, the I have a friend who like self-records all his own stuff, and I was another musician a couple weeks ago, and he was kind of talking about like there's that level of band where kind of like what you were mentioning, you can still hear that rawness and maybe like a mistake or two, but your listener's not going to hear it, they're not going to care, but it still sound it's got that rawness that like people you have the other side of it where people are like going so hard on the perfection of it that it just sounds so sterile and like
Yeah.
I don't know the other word for it, but like
It's
just
overproduced.
yeah,
That's what they're doing. Yeah. It's too polished.
yeah,
Right. Yeah, I don't like polished sound and stuff. Sometimes I do. Like I like Shape of Despair, and
hmm
their music is extremely polished, I'd say. But
yeah,
I still love that sound. Every snare hit is exactly the same volume. It's all triggered or something. It's just, but it works well for that. And some like kind of technical death metal, it works for, in my opinion.
hmm
Because everything has to be so on fucking everything has to be perfect or else it just sounds like too much chaos. Like the kicks and stuff need to be like matched up with the metronome and everything time aligned.
yeah, the beat by beat by beat. Yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
can. Yeah, I guess for technical death metal, I can understand that. But
Yeah,
I don't care either way. Like I just think it's an interesting point that there's like two sides of it where people are like, I don't care, it's a record, they can produce whatever they want, and I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. But like, what happens when they can't play it live? Like, is that gonna be a thing?
yeah, I mean that's kind of a thing I deal with because I had a lot of I try to never record any of the music with the thought of me playing it live. So that makes it difficult to play some of the Hell songs live because some of the Hell songs there's a fucking two acoustic guitars and four electric. I'm never gonna play that song ever live. Some of the other ones there's extra guitars, but I'll just we'll make it work. With the four of us. Um, the operatic, female operatic
Yeah.
vocals like that. Sometimes Carly will come and do a show if it's local, but it's like, we're not gonna like tour that, with that singing in there. And yeah, and some of these new ones on this new album too, man, I'm gonna have to figure something out with fucking looper pedals or something because
Oh,
there's a clean part in Gravis, the clean vocals, and they come in later in the song,
yeah.
and it's layered and it's looped, and I think I can do it, but I would need like an in-ear monitor because on tour, halfway through the tour, my voice goes like it's shot. All I can do is scream. So either somebody else in the band needs to do that part, and I do not want to just fucking play that part pre-recorded on a looper because that just takes away from like the performance of things.
Yeah.
So we either won't play that song on tour and we'll just play like some old Hell songs and Heavy and Mortem because those are the easiest. Those are just the most straightforward songs. Or I'll have to like fucking get some like $400 loop thing and figure it out. So
Yeah,
you
that's
know,
something I've seen. People will like set up a little laptop and the parts that they can do live, like orchestrate operatic vocals and just play with that
yeah,
in the background. But it is kind of odd just seeing like a computer sitting on stage and like watching it go through while they're
yeah,
like playing the song.
it
Uh,
is.
but
But yeah,
that's
it's
where we're at.
gotta do what you got to do unless you want to get like fucking 10 people together and
Yeah, Jesus.
have just a bunch of DI boxes up there.
So one final thing here, or maybe two. Obviously, with the way Hell sounds, I'm assuming you're like a bit of a gear guy, like you have a little setup and stuff. You're
Nah,
not,
dude.
really?
No, I've had the same gears since day one of recording any of this shit.
Wow,
I
that's
have
surprising.
I've used the Digiverb that they don't make anymore.
Okay.
I use just like the fucking Digitech Digiverb, the MXR carbon copy, the black Russian Big Muff, the second edition, I think. And I've had that same one this whole time. I just keep having to. Sometimes something burns out and I have to resolder a new piece. And the same fucking amp too, Fender all tubed twin amp,
Wow.
which they made for like I don't know 12 years or something. Yeah, I
Damn,
use
that's
that for
crazy.
bass and guitar for the recordings. That's it, man.
So, hey, no, hey, that's good. I mean, at least what I kind of meant with that too is like at least you're using like tactile gear. Uh, People have like kind of switched over to like axe effects and like a lot of like computer driven
Oh yeah.
sounds.
Oh totally, totally. Yeah, yeah. Yeah,
But
sounds
yeah,
great too for some music for sure. Yeah. It's very clean. Yeah.
yeah. But I like no like, actual gear there behind the music. That's kind of what I was getting at. Not necessarily that like newer model stuff or like changing it out every record, anything like
Yeah.
that.
It's kind of it definitely has its appeal, right? Like
Yeah.
it's someday it's going to be considered like old fashioned to have an amp on stage,
I know.
It's going to be considered old fashioned and it'll be like a niche thing to go see a band with an amplifier. I bet you it'll eventually be like that. And it makes sense.
Yeah.
Sure. The sounds, it just gets better and better. Those computerized amps and stuff, they're getting better and better and they're going to get cheaper. And it's going to sound exactly like a fucking twin reverb or a fucking Mesa Boogie. Everything's going to sound exactly the same. So there'll be no point in backbreaking, had to have a backbreaking amps up there and stuff. But I will always do that.
Yeah.
I will always have a fucking amp on stage.
Yeah, I unfortunately don't have the room for one, so I've had to switch over to like those all digital like amps and and sounds and stuff, but it works for just like playing, which is all I really
Yeah,
do at home.
me too,
So
man. I have a bunch of I have a contact. It's like a plugin that I use that has a bunch of amps, like
yeah,
Ampeg and Fenders, and I have a Mesa Boogie for bass. Yeah, if I'm trying not to be loud, I'm just trying to just go straight into my recorder and just get an idea out of the way. Yeah, I think they're great for that.
yeah.
For sure.
Okay, the other thing I did want to ask about is the album art. You've been using a lot of like Gustave Doré type art for all the covers.
Yeah.
Uh, do you ever like? I don't know if it's like what do you call it, public domain? Like, is that the case with those, or do you ever
No, no.
kind of run into
Oh yeah,
weird?
yeah, yeah. Anybody can use those. It's
Okay,
old. It's old enough now. Yeah,
that's what I thought.
1850s. Yeah, I don't know what it is. I think it's like 100 years or 50 years or something. You
Okay,
can just use art for anything.
huh.
Yeah,
I love that because it does fit the music very well. Like
it does. Yeah,
the
yeah.
sound.
And
Yeah,
I kind of ran out of the images to use for that. I mean, there's one I was going to use for this album, but it's just been used too many times for like show flyers and other bands. So but I've had Steven Blau Cabal make the art.
okay,
The last these last two Hell albums and the M.S.W Obliviosus album. He did the art for that as well. Because I
nice.
like his style. It's kind of similar, but it's pen and paper rather than an etching.
Yeah,
Uh, yeah, yeah, he's really good. Yeah,
yeah. I always think that art is like the most important thing to the music. Because you're gonna look at that, or at least we used to. I know everything's like digital and online, but it's still I still think it's an important piece of the music. You got to look at that art and be like, okay, yeah, does this capture the mood of what or you know what the band was trying to portray and
yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah,
all that kind of
yeah.
stuff.
I want to try to get somebody. I need to pay somebody to put together. I want something playing behind us when we tour this album.
Oh yeah,
My bands do this. I want to try it with the projector thing. I want to get something together where it makes it look like that art from this new album is kind of like moving,
yeah,
you know, like edit it somehow. And I want it to kind of like zoom in on the faces that are hard to see drowning in the whirlpool and like just to give it more of just so it's kind of like you're taking this still piece of art and somehow making a video of it that maybe loops, right? But I just want to capture really zoom in on all the details. There's so many details in that art that's hard to see, because it's like dark red and black. But yeah,
damn,
I'd like to get something like that together to play behind us because yeah, you're right. Then forces people to really look at the art and see like how it actually why the art looks like that and how it ties in with the way the music sounds.
yeah. Yeah, damn, dude. I wish I was a little more confident in my editing abilities because I would love to make something like that, but I don't know if I could pull it off, to be
Well,
honest. But
if you could, or anybody who's going to listen to this, if somebody has the skill set to do something like that, please contact me because
yeah,
I don't really know where to find. I don't know how much that would cost. I'm not rich. I don't know, but if somebody's willing to do it, well, let's talk. You know,
yeah.
let's
I'm sure
fucking
I could actually probably read up on it and like figure it out if I had the
look at
art.
you stacking another thing on the list of shit
Yeah,
to do.
yeah.
We
No,
just
no, it's
talked about
fun.
this.
I like editing, so it's like, damn, that would actually be pretty fun to do, like make a visually like moving piece of art.
Yeah, it'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Well, think about it.
Well, yeah. Yeah, it's just like you said, let's put more on my plate.
Yeah, stack it up.
All right. So as far as people supporting you and finding the record when it releases, where can people watching or listening do that?
The record comes out July 11th. It's called Submersus. I have records available right now, but right now it's May 20th. I still have the black vinyl available. There's shirts and tapes and CDs. My website is loweryourhead.com and also Sentient Ruin Laboratories has all of that stuff as well. He has way more copies. So if I'm out or it doesn't matter, I actually say go to Sentient Ruin first
Okay.
and support him because he put a lot into this to get this record out for me. So please go to go to his website, get anything. If he's out of anything, then come over to my website. But yeah, sentientruin.com, I think, or sentientruin laboratories.com. Yeah. And then maybe there'll be some news about touring in 2026. So yeah,
Perfect.
that's all I really got.
Awesome, man. Yeah, that's perfect. And I guess, remember like you're a pretty DIY band, so support that you can get from people, it goes to you pretty much, right?
Yeah. What you mean people order stuff?
Yeah, like you don't have like a big record label like pushing everything for you. It's like pretty
No, no,
much
no, no.
you.
I mean, I Sensei and Ruin, I went through him the last Hell album too. I mean, he just helped me get the vinyl out, but he also
Oh,
helped
cool.
out with a lot of promotional stuff because I already released it on tape myself,
Yeah.
I think, and I was in discussions with another label to do vinyl, and that was just not happening. And I wanted to get the vinyl out, so he took over and just like was super pro about it. He's a full time dad and worker and running this label, so he's
Damn.
also a busy guy, but he puts a lot into it. So I went through him again, yeah, and he just like he takes his Sunday nights or whatever and just fucking gets everything done. And we split costs on some things, but there's a percentage split, and I just get everything in hard copies. So he doesn't pay me any cash. It's just like we just have this deal we have, and because I like running my website too, and
Yeah.
I'm sitting here shipping out all the records that come in to me after I'm done working an 8 hour shift. So it's like it's just I love it. It's fun.
Yeah.
It keeps me more connected with fans and stuff, and yeah, it keeps me out of trouble. So
Well, Matt, I seriously want to thank you for your time and for your music. I appreciate you being on here, man, and talking about everything with the new record and Alluvion. I hope people check it out. Obviously, if you're listening or watching, go check it out. Thank you.
yeah, well,
Thank you,
dude, thank
seriously.
you. Thanks for taking the time, and have fun with that edit screen.
Yeah.
You know.